Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to another week of Wild and Wacky Chit Chats with the twins. I am Krista.
And I am Kara.
And we are sitting in Kara's backyard here, and it is so humid and
It's
beautiful
lovely.
out. What is the weather like where you guys are? Oh, yeah, I didn't bring...
I'm just going to share out here.
Actually, we usually get comments on here, so we'll see if you guys leave any comments, if we can see them on this device, because sometimes in the other groups we're not able to. So how's everybody doing today? Give you guys a minute here to pop on.
Good morning, Felita. I recognize your picture.
Felita. So Kara and I have kind of had money on the mind for the last few days. When we started a new 30-day challenge in a group we have, La Resistance, if anyone wants to join us, our question for the next 30 days, now I'm drawing a blank here.
Oh.
It's all about money. It's about your points of views and money.
I'll look it up when I'm done sharing here.
Okay, yeah, I should have thought that one through for a second before starting.
To be fair, we just started it today.
Yeah,
so I remember.
I did read it off a piece of paper, but it's all about really finding out what your limited points of views are, what your points of views are about money, because we have so many points of views that we aren't even aware of. And Karen and I were just talking, like, it's just so interesting how something can be so real in your world, and like there is no way, like for me, for instance, with nursing as a job, like I have fought wanting to be a nurse for years since I went into it, but somewhere in my mind I know it's a security thing, whatever that means, right? Where like when I retire, I'll have like a good pension and I'll be taken care of, and if I do anything but that, I'm screwed. I'll be living in poverty when I am an elderly person.
So, Krista, tell me, what are you making real about money that isn't?
That's the question. Oh, what are you making real?
What am I making real about money that isn't?
And everything that brings up times a gazillion. I know, destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all names, shorts, boys and beyonds. Man, I have made that so real in my universe that not that I like think that I'll get out of nursing. So real. So real. But that I'll have a choice. Right now I feel like I don't have a choice. And so this 30-day journey, I am really, really enthusiastic over to see where I can just shift a little bit, where we can shift with all of our points of views about money, that if you were willing to just get rid of it and look through a different lens, what else would truly be possible with money?
Camera one, camera two.
Yeah.
Camera one, camera two. Good morning, Jen.
Good
and
morning,
Louie
you guys.
and
Nice to see you on here. So we're just talking about money all across the board this morning here, you guys, because why not?
Because who doesn't want more money?
Exactly.
I do.
And there's lots of layers to be shed in my world for me to be able to receive that, you know, and maybe you guys are the same. So we talked about this in our group this morning. Good morning, Mahish. Right Riches for You by Gary Douglas and Dane here. If you've never read this book, I highly recommend it. It is so good. And it's talking in this section about evidentiary contrivances. So it's not what is in the world that determines what your life is like, because the world doesn't have a point of view. It is the other way around. The world supports your point of view of it. Another way of saying this is that your point of view creates your reality. Your reality doesn't create your point of view. Are you aware of that? For example, if you have the point of view that it's a struggle to get money, you will always have a struggle in your universe regarding money. People who buy this viewpoint from their parents continue to have money struggles unless they undo their stuck points of view about money. The expression shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations expresses the idea that you can't be greater than what you were raised to be. and everything that brings up times a gazillion. Will you destroy and uncreate all that, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Like, we're not even aware of the, like, stuff that trickles into our world, these points of views, like, and it might be from your lifetime now, it might be from lifetime in the, like, past, like, lifetime
well,
after
like you
lifetime.
were saying this morning, like, mom and dad, dad definitely said, what do you think, money grows on trees? But everybody says that.
That's an interesting point of view.
But other than that, I don't remember ever, like, there being money issues. So it's like, where did all that stem from, right?
Yeah, and I was also thinking about that after that talk, when I was like, where did that come from? I guess, like, really, who cares?
Yeah,
like,
first and foremost. To
make it simpler, because I was like, really thinking and pondering after this morning.
Diving into the goo and getting stuck back there.
It's like jumping onto that infinity loop, and where you're just, like, keeping yourself distracted for a little while until you realize it doesn't fucking matter.
No, it'd just be like, is this from another lifetime? Yep, okay, moving on.
Exactly.
Like, doesn't mean we gotta hold on to that.
And is it even mine?
Yeah.
You know, like, who does this belong to? Because 99% of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions do not belong to us. So, again, that famous question, like, if something is, like, sticking you, something's making you feel heavy in your world, you think about money, and you just instantly feel like you're going to throw up, you're stressed, you're just, like, want to cry and pull your hair out. What is this? That's a really good time to ask yourself some questions like, what is this? Is this even mine? You know?
And truly acknowledge what a powerful creator you are. And, like, for me, it's like, I always have just enough money by the end of the month. It's like,
I know.
I just scraped by, now it's payday again.
Yeah.
And every month, it's always the same. And like,
isn't that interesting?
Powerful creators.
And why don't other people have that same financial reality? You know, like, how can we all be all these different individual people with these true fixed realities where this is the way it is? How can that be? Because we bloody choose it. And you know what? We don't even know half the time that we are choosing it. We just honestly believe that it is a point of view, that it is real, and that there is no other choice. Like I said, I've made it so real and true in my mind that if I want a decent retirement, I should stay with this job. Like, I actually, stepping outside of it right now and even talking about it, that sounds so ridiculous, you know? And maybe to some people it doesn't, but it's like, you don't know what is available
That's why
to you.
talking to someone, like, who is just willing to listen, like Jessica was talking about the whole listening thing in that video the other day, but it's like, if you can get someone to just listen to what you have to say, or journaling, and not trying to offer advice, that's when you actually realize how ridiculous, like, what you're saying actually is. Like, oh.
Totally.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
So Gary goes on to talk about this. We met a man in Tennessee who expressed this idea in another way. In a strong southern accent, which I'm not going to say.
Come on.
He said, you can't go above your raisin. I thought,
You can't go above your what?
Raisin.
Oh.
So he thought, what does that mean? That was funny. I imagined a muffin with a raisin on top.
Interesting.
Then I realized he was saying, you can't go above the way you were raised. If you were raised in poverty, you assume that poverty is normal and correct. Camera 1. Camera 2. If you were raised in the middle class, you assume that being middle class is normal and correct. You adopt the points of view of the people around you, and then you create your reality based on your point of view. Ding, 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 ding. Most people set up their lives based on the evidentiary contrivances they have had from the time that they were little. An evidentiary contrivance is a contrived point of view. It's a viewpoint you have developed. It is when you say, this is the way money ought to be. This is the way things work with money. You consider that something is a certain way, and then you gather evidence to try to make it right.
Oh,
So everything that brings up times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes, please.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I'm gonna just say, one of the clearings that I've been liking to run on a loop is, what addiction to rightness are you using to to eliminate you are you choosing? And everything that brings up times a gazillion, I now destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
Okay, say it again.
Okay. What stupidity are you? No. Oh, shit. I'm having quite a morning here. It's the heat. And not the blonde hair that I don't have. What addiction to rightness are you using? To eliminate you are you choosing? And everything that brings up times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes, please.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. We sure like to be right, don't we? And we will just do anything and everything, even if it's against our own happiness, just to be right. We will do.
I know,
anything.
like even when you're like arguing with someone and you know you sound ridiculous and you don't actually even believe what you're saying. And you're like, no, but I can't admit that I'm wrong.
Exactly, because it won't look cool. I just couldn't do that, you know.
Oh man.
You are not looking at what is. You are looking at the way you would like something to be, or the way you have decided that things are. Simple as that. That's all we're doing when we are functioning from evidentiary contrivances. We have decided something is the way it is, and then we will do whatever it takes to prove that we are right, that we had that point of view. Forever and ever, amen.
Oh, it's so funny.
Aren't we powerful creators?
We are, and not the smartest.
And not the smart. That's why we were talking too, how like consciousness is so freaking annoying.
It is.
You just
so
are
annoying.
like we'll be sitting there and we notice that we're like just going off on this loop, like that infinity loop where we're just like trying to figure that out, you know, and then it's like, wait a minute. It could be so much simpler. We could just not be hung up in that area and
oh
yeah, jackass. Okay, so
you're not alone.
So you're not alone. And here's another example. Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody and become so focused on how you wanted that person to be that you couldn't see how he or she really was? Oh, I love them. They're so wonderful. Yeah, they're wonderful, except when they're mean, nasty, and awful to you. You can't even see that because you have the point of view that they are the best person in the world. If you focused on what you want them to be and on how you want the relationship to work out, instead of seeing how they really are and what the relationship actually is, you'll go around saying things like, well, it's going to work out eventually. The evidence doesn't support the picture you have contrived. That's an evidentiary contrivance. So let's say you have the point of view, the only way I can get money is by working a 9-to-5 job. You pull this point of view out of the air, or you pull it out of your parents' heads and you decide this is the way it is. Then you start looking for evidence that proves the point of view you contrived is actually true. You begin to create your life to prove the rightness of that viewpoint. Everything that brings up times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, podpoc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, and like any point of view. Like to me, it's a shift worker, but to me, it's like being employed by someone, being like in a union that has benefits and, you know, like security again. And it's like, so I have just gone on to prove myself right.
Actually, can you say that clearing again? And the greatest thing about when we ask these questions, it's not about going into your head and trying to find an answer, and you actually don't even have to really understand the words that are coming out. But whatever you just said actually wasn't really paying
it wasn't as clearing, but it can't, like, yeah. So let's say you have the point of view, the only way I can get money is by working a 9-to-5 job, or whatever the job is that you do. You pull this point of view out of the air, or you pull it out of your parents' heads.
Or you pull it out of your ass.
Or you pull it out of your... That's what I was thinking, too. And you decide, this is the way that it is. Simple as. Then you start looking for evidence that proves the point of view you contrived is actually true. You begin to create your life to prove the rightness of that viewpoint. So everything that brings up times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Times a gazillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, pod, all names, shorts, boys and beyonds. Do you look beyond the narrow evidence that seems to confirm your point of view? No. You are not functioning from awareness. You are functioning from an evidentiary contrivance. Evidentiary.
We actually, I gotta just tell. we had to Google how do you pronounce
Evidentiary.
Evidentiary.
That's funny. A friend of ours told us that her father turned down the vice presidency of an oil company to become a professor. The evidentiary contrivance in her family was that education was everything, and that only crude people had money. They were out to prove their superiority of having no money. That's a point of view that a lot of people have, for sure. Dane had a version of this in his family. He said that in his family, the evidentiary contrivance was, we may not have money, but unlike those rich people, we're happy.
Right.
Everything that brings up times a gazillion. Will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all names, shorts, boys and beyond.
Oh, man.
He didn't buy into this one. His reaction was, excuse me, but have you looked at yourself lately? Is this what you call happy? And like, that's just what people have to say so that they don't have to face their point of view. And it's just like, and it's again proving that they're right. They're like, well, we're right, you know, so we're happy. So we can't even see that we're not happy.
Or not even willing to look at how unhappy you are, because then you're wrong.
Exactly. Dang. It can't be any less happy than you guys are. A man we know told us that he had been occasionally happy during his 42 years of marriage. Occasionally happy. He said his parents were married for 68 years, and he decided he should be able to do that as well. He created the same kind of marriage situation his parents had, long-lasting but never very happy. He decided a long-lasting marriage was a good thing, and then he tried to create that reality no matter what. Evidentiary contrivance at its finest, folks. So in order to make something right that isn't, we back it up with the evidence we gather to prove the rightness of our point of view. Evidentiary contrivances are interesting points of view that demonstrate the rightness of all the limitations of your life. Every limitation in your life, is based on the evidentiary contrivances. Everyone. That one is like, okay, let's really start to shift this point of view of the way of living, because they are creating limitation after limitation after limitation. Like, how often do you just like wish you could do something, but you talk yourself out of it because you can't afford it, because it's not right, because people would judge you, you know, like it just wouldn't be responsible of you. Like, how many things have you held back on in your life because of your points of views that you had to prove were a rightness?
Yeah, well, and how many places do you say you don't know what you want? I don't know what I want to do today.
Exactly.
I don't know, because you're so afraid to get it wrong.
Exactly.
This whole right and wrong reality.
Yeah, she gotta go.
She gets you in a real pickle.
Oh, and everything that brings up times a gazillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all names, shorts, boys and beyonds. And in case any of you are new to watching our show and haven't heard this saying that we say at the end of it, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all names, shorts, boys and beyonds, that is from Access Consciousness, and it is called the clearing statement. And what it does is, when we say questions like this, and when you, like, you know, when stuff brings up your points of views, it's like all of these points of views raised to the surface, and we are like getting rid of layers and layers of unconsciousness. And how we get rid of those layers of unconsciousness is by using the clearing statement. It's like a magical wand, and it's just like, poof, be gone.
And it really is as simple as that. We don't have to try and understand why we chose something, why we did this, why we did that. It's only going to keep you stuck in the past if you can just be like, cool, I chose that, and that was pretty stupid, actually, and I'm actually ready to try something different.
Just on that continuous infinity loop of proving yourself right. It's like Groundhog's Day, really. Like, every day is the same old fight, the same old battle, the same old sigh, and just be like, oh, well,
I guess this is the way it is. Forever and ever, amen.
Until it no longer is, because you choose for it to be something different. But you have to be willing to see where you are truly functioning from, to see where all your points of views are limiting you in your happiness. Choose happiness, but you have to be willing to. It's not comfortable sometimes.
No, it can be pretty uncomfortable, for sure, because, I mean, we're used to functioning from a certain way our whole life, and even though we, like, when I argue, it's like, no, it's got to be this way, and even though you know you're wrong, it's still easier, because it's what you've always done.
Exactly.
And people look at you like you're a nutter when you start acting differently.
Totally. Hence, we call the show Wild and Wacky Chit Chats. So one of the things we want more than anything else is to hold on to the rightness of our point of view, even if it isn't working for us. Even if it isn't working for us. Like, isn't that interesting where we function from? It's not working for us, but we're right. I'll take the rightness, please.
I'm just going to continue to be right here.
Sounds fun. Evidentiary contrivances are more dynamic, more contractive, more intense, and more limiting than anything else in our existence. If there is any place in your life that is not changing the way you would like it to, you have an evidentiary contrivance, or a few million of them in place. So, if there is some area of your life that you can't seem to change, ask, how many evidentiary contrivances do I have holding this in place? Then use the clearing statement, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. It is not necessary to look for an answer. The question brings up the energy, and then the clearing statement goes to the point of creation where you made the evidentiary contrivance, or to the point of destruction, where you destroyed some part of your awareness or your consciousness in order to hold a limited point of view in place, and it erases them so you can have a different possibility. It doesn't matter whether the point of creation or the point of destruction was last week or 100 million years ago. The clearing statement takes you to the first place it happened, so we don't even have to figure that out. The clearing statement does it for us and clears the decisions you made. It happens energetically when you use the question and the clearing statement. So, yeah, it's like it takes you back to that moment, and that's all it was. When you have a point of view, all it took was one split second for you to hear someone say that's the way it is, and you're like, okay, yeah, you're right.
And then you buy that as real and true, and then you have to prove yourself right over and over and over again, so you actually go looking for that to happen.
Isn't that so bananas?
Yeah, we crazy.
We crazy indeed. Oh my God. And yeah, it's so amazing actually just talking about it and realizing that we function from there, and what else is truly possible if we can look past all of these evidentiary contrivances that we have created. Probably not consciously. Definitely not consciously.
Definitely not consciously.
But when you start to really look at it and you really start to get aware, like, she wild and crazy.
And that just said 11, 23, 1, 2, 3, simplify your life.
Simplify your life, yeah. So Kara and I, like I said, we have that new 30-day saying in our group La Resistance, we'll just if you want, we'll post a link and you can print yourself off a worksheet and you can hold yourself accountable and start saying this question 30 times a day for 30 days to start shedding all those layers of evidentiary contrivances.
And like these 30-day clearings, like they are totally off the wall. Like you seriously just ask the same question 30 times a day for 30 days, and it sounds so stupid and so insane, but it's amazing how it really like starts, like it really brings into your awareness where you're functioning from. It's like, oh my god, is that seriously where I'm functioning from? Like
it's like
crazy.
You're sweeping through your house, like you're cleaning your house, and you come to this corner of just a bunch of bullshit point of views you have, and you're like, what? Like,
it's
really?
like I should have known that I was functioning from there, and you kind of do, but then once you like bring it into the light, it's like, oh my goodness, let's let that go.
And money is one of the biggest areas of my life that
I think everybody's lives pretty
where
much.
you just like, you know what, it's easier not to think about it, because anytime I start to think about it, it gets too stressful, it gets too hard, and you don't even go there. You become so blinded by it. Until you just like realize that it truly is just a point of view, like that you've taken on. And if you can really slam those barriers down and ask what else is possible and allow the universe to show you the possibilities, then look out.
Well,
world.
even like, oh, I could never have $1 million. That's too stressful. That's too this. That's too that. It's like, oh, well, really? Like, have you had $1 million before?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that?
Exactly. So then you can't, right?
Yeah.
If you believe you live paycheck to paycheck, well, then you do. You know, if you believe you're always going to be in this massive amount of debt,
then you will.
Then you will.
Because we are that powerful.
So
Man.
who wants to start shedding some of these layers? I do. And looking at money and the possibilities with money from a whole new camera lens.
I'm ready to just scooch over just a hair.
Yeah.
And it's not like you got to do one big giant step and
Exactly.
like everything's going to be completely different. It's a process and
Totally.
baby steps.
Yeah. So if you care to join us over at La Resistance. We also have 2 weeks left in our other group, Project Simplicity 2, in which we're pulling energy, and we've been talking for the last few days about money in there and pulling more money and abundance and joy and glory into our lives. So if you want to join us there, you still can, and we'll drop the links below.
Yeah, and it's not too late. We are 2 weeks in, but you can have access to all the polls
for life.
For life.
Well, as long as Facebook is functioning.
That's
still.
true. And it's only $37.
Yeah, can't go wrong, my friends. Thank you for joining us for another week of wild and wacky chit chats, and I hope you can get out and be in this beautiful day, or have AC if you totally hate this heat, because she's gonna be a warm one. Have an awesome day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.